What really attracted me was back when I was a young kid. I remember around 2006 to 2008, my family had bought in a home, right? And if you guys aren't familiar with this, but that's basically where the whole 2008 financial market crash happened, right? And it was interesting because we went from living in an apartment to living in this big, it looked like a mansion. I'm like, wow, we're living the dream. When in reality, there was something within the financial system that was going on that would eventually lead to the 2008 financial crash, right? So after we had, we went from that big house back to a tiny little apartment. And I was wondering, well, what happened during this time? Like, what's going on? Like, why did we lose our home? Why did the neighbors lose their home? What's going on? What's going on? And basically that's what sparked my curiosity into like trying to understand what the markets or what went on during that time. So fast forward when I went into community college, I remember I wanted to go in and, be a doctor, quote unquote, but I would find most of my time looking at stock charts and I'm like, why is this stock or why is this company going up? Why is this one going down? And that eventually led to me learning about a program on Cal State Fullerton called the Smith program, the Student Managed Investment. Yeah. And I remember that's basically where everything, like I started to learn about the fundamental analysis of companies, what drives their growth, the difference between revenues increasing and profitability increasing. A lot of that information was from Smith, but then I heard there was a program that really dives even deeper into that. That was Titan Capital Management. So it was more I had that curiosity within myself that I really needed to be fulfilled. And it was through Titan Capital Management that I was able to find that.
I can definitely echo off that. I too started off in Smith and I felt like I wanted a greater challenge, and TCM offers that essentially. As I mentioned previously, it gave me the analytical and soft skills needed for us to be successful in our careers. And yeah, like the reason why I joined TCM, no other place would you get the opportunity to manage a portion of the endowment, and that speaks volumes when it comes to, your interviews and whatnot in your job. So.
I graduated during the whole COVID thing, and a lot of my peers were actually applying to internships. They were applying everywhere, right? And we're during the beginning months of COVID, I was thinking, I still had a little bit of that mentality. I'm just gonna, really start focusing on sending out these applications once I graduate, right? COVID happened, and all these different firms, no one was hiring. From the time I graduated, I think I was like 6 months and I couldn't find anything. But it wasn't until a network of mine. So I don't know if you remember Eduardo Mendez. He was part of Titan Capital Management, right? Yeah. So he was actually in the actual the team that we were a part of, right? And he's the one that let me know, him and some other individuals, they let me know that there was this position open up. I'm like, shoot, apply right away. I need anything that I can get. So I applied to the job. The manager, which is now my manager, Saad, he's the one that hired me. The reason why he gave me the position or even gave me the interview was because he saw the success that Ed had on his team. And he's like, we want someone from Titan Capital Management because we want that same success to be replicated. And I was, they asked me how good were my Excel skills, which is something that here in Titan Capital Management, we had to be really good at. I remember we did the Wall Street prep. They taught us all about macros. They taught us all about shortcuts, things that I actually use in my career today. It's rare for me to actually use my mouse now. And I thought that was, just a funny thing that people were saying, like, you have to be so good that you never use your mouse. I'm like, do you really? That's one of the skills that I decided to actually work on, and it's really paid off. And if it weren't for that, I don't think I would have been able to get the job that I had. It would have been a lot more difficult. I think so.
Yeah.
Vivian's story is
Vivian's story is different, but Vivian's not even in investments anymore, right?
Oh, I'm not. I'm actually consulting, which is
I know. So
what? That figured out. So
yeah. So tell me about that.
After school, I got a gig at Raytheon working in CorpFin. So I got the opportunity to work on their development and their production programs. Felt like it wasn't for me. I wanted something more. So my buddy reached out to me and I actually got a job in consulting. So it's a boutique consulting firm and we specialize in exec comp. in the tech and life science industry. So it's pretty cool because how TCM has helped in that is, besides like the Excel skills and whatnot, a lot of consulting is formatting and how like perfect it is. In TCM, we touch a lot on formatting and all that good stuff. Not only that, when we're looking at peer groups, we're looking at their market cap, their revenue growth, their profitability in order for us to, you know, compile a good one for our client. And that's how TCM's helped me a lot too. Not only that, that go-getter personality when it comes to, you know, reaching out and asking for projects has really helped because, you know, it's something they really appreciate at the firm. So I think it was great because you had to learn how to prove a point in a concise manner and understand how to like respect what everyone else is saying and get that constructive feedback in order for you to, you know, benefit and improve yourself. And I felt like that was really helpful.
George, I remember, I guess it must have been Smith was probably the first time I saw you up in front of the room presenting some investment information. And if I can say, I don't think it was your best work early on.
I did really, yeah, terrible.
So tell me how that evolved, because at the end you were one of our most dynamic presenters. So how did all that happen?
I think it was well, I mean, it's a combination of things, but it was the exposure. You just kept doing it over and over. I think we had Monday meetings every single week, so I knew, and even though I presented that confidence, I was still nervous to go up there and do my presentations, right? But starting off, I would pretty much just wing it, and I didn't have a plan going into any of these presentations. And one of the things that I learned was if you don't know what you're gonna say, or if you don't know what you're talking about, you're gonna sound pretty dumb up there, right? So over time, I started learning the skills, like, okay, what do I have to do before I start presenting? And similar to what we're saying right now, it's we can have all the information up there, but if it's boring and no one's paying attention, then no one's gonna receive it. They're gonna fall asleep. So I had to learn to be more dynamic, to be more engaging with the people that I'm talking to make sure my slides had just the right of information to get the point across, but not so much where people it's overwhelming. Yeah, so being able to learn that balance, that's something I definitely learned, and it came with a lot of harsh talks. Like it was not saying it wasn't brutal, because it was pretty brutal, but ultimately that's what shaped my abilities, my confidences. It allowed me to feel more secure about myself when I do my presentations. Now, I still mess up every once in a while, but it's definitely a lot cleaner than from when I first started, that's for sure.
I would say the nights that we would play chess. So like one day Amelia decided to bring in a chessboard, and we just all got into playing chess. And I remember some nights where you would be in here like Sunday night at midnight cranking out a report because it was due in the next few days, and like other people would come in and you have that sense of camaraderie. And there was one night where we like unintentionally had a movie night in the TCM room on the screens, and it was just so cool being able to like hang out with your teammates, get that peer review while you guys are all in the room. And I don't know, that was something that made TCM memorable for me. What about you, George?
I have to 100% agree. Where the real bonding took place was after school, after the classes, when we were here. We arrived like 11, 12 at night, and we stayed until, I don't know if we're supposed to say this, but like until like 3, 4 in the morning, right? Obviously, we got our work done. We knew that we were all in this together. So if I was suffering, I'm like, oh, everyone else is suffering with me too. But and what was really nice about having everyone together was if we had any sort of questions, or let's say my DCF skills weren't that great, I could go and ask like Tien. She was really beast at DCF modeling, right?
Ooh, someone who doesn't take constructive feedback well and doesn't have a willingness to learn, because
definitely
you learn a lot here. You are put to the test here, and if you're not ready for like that challenge and you don't want to grow as a person, then you're not cut for the program, I would say.
Someone that's lazy, probably I don't think they would be successful. I think there's people that are lazy but very, very smart, right? But the thing is, someone that perhaps isn't that smart but they work very, very hard, eventually like that discipline that they develop and those habits, they're going to translate and make them a much better analyst, you know. And I think that if you're lazy and you're not willing to put any of the work in anything, yeah, I don't see you having too much success, if I could be honest.
Sometimes you're just not aware of what's expected of you and where you're falling short, unless somebody's willing to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So
if you're on the fence, do it, apply. What do you have to lose? Like, you have so much to gain experience-wise. It's going to make your resume that much stronger. It's going to make you that much stronger of an applicant when you go against others for your job. I don't think I would have gotten to where I am without my experience in TCM. So I think a lot of my success to it. Do it, apply.
For individuals that are looking to apply to Titan Capital Management, 100% agree. You should, like Vivian, just to reiterate what Vivian's saying, if you're on the fence, go for it. Even it's not going to be easy. For sure, it's not going to be easy, but the challenge will definitely be rewarding for sure. Within TCM, you're going to learn a lot of skills. You're going to learn skills like your Excel skills, PowerPoint skills, presentation skills. You're going to learn to be a little more comfortable talking in front of people that actually know about the industry, that are very knowledgeable. You'll also learn that you shouldn't, if you're going to say something, make sure it's correct, because like I said, everyone knows what you're saying. Everyone knows if you're BSing, right? Yeah, definitely apply. It'll make you much more competitive out there in the work field for sure, if you're trying to look for an employment.
I mean, not only that, networking wise too, like everyone from this program like has been successful, right? So I remember one instance from the CFA LA. I was networking with this guy who worked at Capital Group, and they actually reached out to me for a job, and I said no to the job because I'd already signed with Raytheon. But even though I didn't accept that, I recommended Ali to the job, and he ended up getting the job. So, you know, like just the alumni, the connection, like it's a very strong network. So definitely apply to TCM.